I was 7 years old when my mother died. I still remember that morning clearly. The sky was gray and the house felt unusually quiet. I was sitting on the floor playing with my toy cars when my father suddenly knelt in front of me. His eyes were red, his hands were shaking. He didn't say much. He just said, "Mommy is not coming back." At that age, I didn't understand death. I kept waiting for her to walk through the door, smiling like she always did. I kept sleeping with her scarf under my pillow because it still smelled like her perfume. My name is Ethan Carter. I was born in a small town in Michigan where winters are cold and houses sit far apart. My mother was my whole world. She read me stories every night, packed my lunch with little notes inside, and kissed my forehead before school. After she was gone, the house felt empty. My father tried his best, but he was always tired, always quiet. 6 months later, everything changed again. One evening, he brought home a woman named Linda. She smiled too much. Her voice was sweet in front of my father, but her eyes were cold when she looked at me. "This is going to be your new mom," my father said. I felt something twist inside my chest. At first, Linda acted kind. She cooked nice meals when my father was home. She bought me new clothes. She hugged me in front of neighbors. But when the door closed, she changed. She stopped calling me by my name and started calling me boy. She made me clean the house while her own son rested. She gave me smaller portions of food and told me I was too skinny to complain. I was 7. I didn't know how to fight back. One night, I accidentally spilled juice on the carpet. Linda grabbed my arm tightly and whispered through her teeth, "If you tell your father, you'll regret it." I cried silently in my room, hugging my pillow, wishing my real mother would come back. The worst part wasn't the chores. It wasn't the hunger. It was the loneliness. At school, I started becoming quiet. Teachers asked what was wrong. I smiled and said I was fine. But I wasn't. One evening, while cleaning the storage room, I found my mother's old box. Inside were photos, letters, and a small necklace she used to wear. I held it tightly and whispered, "I miss you, Mom." I didn't know then that what my stepmother was about to do next would hurt me even more than losing my mother. As I grew older, Linda's control over the house became stronger. My father worked long hours at a factory. He left early in the morning and returned late at night, tired and silent. Most of the time, he believed everything Linda told him, and she was very good at lying. When I was 10, I discovered something by accident. I came home early from school one day because my teacher was sick. The house was quiet. I went to my room to drop my bag, but I heard voices coming from my parents' bedroom. Linda was on the phone. Her voice was low and serious. "Yes, I already transferred it," she said. "The child doesn't need to know. His mother left it, but it's better if we control it." My heart started beating fast. I stood there, frozen. I didn't fully understand what she meant, but I knew one thing. She was talking about my mother. That night, I couldn't sleep. The next day, when Linda went out, I searched through the drawer where she kept important papers. My hands were shaking as I pulled out old documents. And there it was, a bank statement. My mother had opened a savings account in my name before she died. It was meant for my education, for my future. But the balance was now almost zero. Linda had taken it. I felt sick. When she came home, I confronted her. "You stole my mom's money," I said quietly, holding the paper. Her face changed instantly. She slapped the document out of my hand and leaned close to me. "Listen carefully," she whispered. "If you open your mouth, I will make sure your father never trusts you again. Nobody will believe a child over me." I was terrified. That night, I cried until my chest hurt. I wanted to tell my father, but I was scared. Linda controlled everything in the house. She controlled what he heard, what he believed. From that day, her behavior became worse. She stopped letting me join family dinners. She locked the refrigerator at night. She told relatives that I was difficult and problematic. Slowly, everyone started looking at me differently. By the time I turned 13, I felt like a stranger in my own home. But something inside me changed, too. I stopped crying. I started remembering. Every insult, every stolen moment, every lie. I didn't know how yet, but I promised myself one thing. One day, I would make the truth come out. When I turned 16, I finally had the chance to fight back. I had been saving every odd job I could find, delivering newspapers, mowing lawns, tutoring kids, and secretly opened my own savings account separate from the one Linda had emptied. I also began learning about legal rights for minors and inheritance with the help of a trusted family friend, Mrs. Thompson, who had known my mother well. One Saturday morning, I asked my father to meet me at the local bank under the pretense of setting up a new card. Linda came along, of course, smiling sweetly. When we were inside, I quietly handed Mrs. Thompson a stack of documents proving that Linda had misappropriated my mother's savings. My father's face went pale. "Is this true?" he asked, looking between us, his voice shaking. Linda opened her mouth, but the words caught in her throat. "Yes, I thought it was for his future, but you stole from your own stepson," Mrs. Thompson said firmly. "This is illegal. The law is clear." I watched my father's eyes widen as he realized everything, every lie Linda had told him, every cruel act, every excuse he had believed. I finally spoke. My voice was calm, steady. For years, she made me feel invisible. She took what was mine. She tried to make me forget my mother. But I never forgot, and I never will. Linda tried to argue, but the bank officials and Mrs. Thompson stopped her. My father, for the first time, stood with me, not her. By the end of the day, the stolen funds were returned, legal steps were taken to protect me from further interference, and Linda had no choice but to leave the house. Walking home, I held my mother's old scarf close to my chest. I felt lighter than I had in years. For the first time since I was 7, I felt safe. I had survived the loss of my mother. I had survived betrayal. I had survived loneliness. And most importantly, I had reclaimed my life. I whispered to myself, holding the scarf, "You didn't raise me, but you didn't break me. I am stronger than anyone ever thought I could be." That night, I slept peacefully for nearly a decade. The child who had been abandoned and cheated had finally grown into someone who could never be broken again.